Discussion on the amendment? Are there any amendments to the amendment? If not, the question is now on the amendment offered by the gentleman from North Carolina, Mr. Meadows. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the Chair, the ayes have it, and the amendment is agreed to. Are there any further amendments to the bill? If none, the question is now on the adoption and favorably reporting H.R. 4639 as amended to the House of Representatives. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, no. In the opinion of the Chair, the ayes have it, and the bill is ordered favorably reported. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table. Our next item for consideration is H.R. 4392 to amend Title V of the United States Code to require that the Office of Personnel Management submit an annual report to Congress relating to the use of official time by Federal employees. The clerk will designate the bill.
H.R. 4392 to amend Title V United States Code to require that the Office of Personnel Management submit an annual report to Congress relating to the use of official time by Federal employees.
I ask unanimous consent that the bill be considered as read and open for amendment at any point. Without objection, so ordered. I understand that the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. Hice, will offer an amendment in the nature of the substitute to the bill. Without objection, we'll call up the amendment in the nature of a substitute and then recognize Mr. Hice to give one statement on both the amendment in the nature of the substitute and the underlying bill. The clerk will designate the amendment.
Amendment in the nature of a substitute to H.R. 4392 offered by Mr. Hice of Georgia. Strike all after the enacting clause and insert the following. Section 1, reporting requirement.
Now I'd like to recognize Mr. Hice of Georgia for 5 minutes to explain the legislation and the amendment in the nature of a substitute.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And I also would like to thank my colleague, Congressman Ross of Florida, for introducing this legislation. I think we talk a lot about the need for accountability, and to me this is a bill that addresses that issue tremendously. In fact, I myself last year introduced a bill also trying to address official time. This is an extremely important issue. Basically, official time is when Federal employees stop doing the assigned work of their agency and instead perform tasks for labor unions. And shockingly, there's no requirements to report information on official time to the taxpayer. Although OPM does provide some reporting, OPM's current process results simply in incomplete and untimely reports. As an example from this committee, it took months and it took a lot of pressure from this committee before the administration released official time data for FY 2011 back in February of 2013. And in fact, the most recent report that we have from OPM was issued in October of 2014, but that only provided information regarding official time from 2012. So we're years behind in getting updated reporting information. In fact, the 2012 information that we do have, which of course is the most recent, it revealed that unions at 62 different agencies represented more than 1.2 million non-postal Federal employees, which is an increase of 1.65% from that in 2011. That report also shows that Federal employees spent 3.4 million total official time hours during 2012. I mean, that's an amazing amount of time, 3.4 million man-hours. That also is an increase of 1.3% from the prior year. Most alarmingly, to me, the Federal government charged the taxpayers $157 million for the official time hours in salaries and benefits in 2012. Unfortunately, the most recent report data is now nearly 3.5 years old. Who knows what has happened in the last 3.5 years? So to address this problem, Representative Dennis Ross has introduced this simple bill designed to ensure Congress receives specific and timely information on official time usage. Specifically, H.R. 4392 requires OPM to report a detailed report on official time usage by Federal employees. They must report the total amount of official time granted and the specific activities for which official time was used. OPM must additionally report the number of employees that are using 100% of official time to do nothing but union business. The amendment that I am offering requires OPM to also include in the annual report a description of any room or space designated at the agency where official time activities will be conducted, including square footage of any such room or space. In response to a letter sent from this committee to agencies requesting information on space designated for conducting official time, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau was able to promptly respond, and they reported that the agency has one room, approximately 70 square feet, that is designated for official time activities. So obviously, according from the response from the CFPB, this is not a burdensome requirement to our agencies. The continued and timely release of official time information is absolutely necessary for this committee and the American taxpayers to assess the extent to which such time contributes to the productivity and effectiveness of the federal government. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I urge my colleagues to join me in supporting this important measure. Thank you.
Thank the gentleman. We'll now recognize the ranking member, Mr. Cummings, for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. H.R. 4392, as introduced, is identical to legislation that was reported out of this committee last Congress. I appreciated that the majority worked with us last Congress to eliminate provisions in the prior bill that would have been burdensome for agencies to comply with. The legislation would require the Office of Personnel Management to submit an annual report to Congress on the use of, quote, official time. Federal employees who are union representatives use official time to represent employees in grievances, participate in labor management meetings, and negotiate collective bargaining agreements. OPM has been voluntarily issuing reports on official time since 2002. This legislation would help ensure that OPM issue the reports at the same time every year. In addition, federal agencies would be required to submit data for the official time reports to OPM by the end of each calendar year. We expect that this language will help OPM collect the data more easily and in a more timely manner from federal agencies. Unfortunately, the amendment offered by Representative Hice that is now under consideration adds back into